Greetings and welcome back for another thrilling episode of HFY Storytime with me, your host, the Casual Deathworlder. Before we begin, let me take a few moments to give the obligatory like this video, comment on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and more importantly, share this video with your paperboy, your bus driver, or your UPS guy. Let's try and get this channel to 1,000 subscribers before Christmas. On the menu today, we have The Old Man and the Starship by user SomethingTouchesBack. The original story link is in the video description. Please follow it and give the author some love and support in the form of upvotes and or comments. While you're at it, be sure to check out my Patreon channel. Consider becoming a subscriber and help keep my editor energized with Cheetos and soda. Seriously, he's a large part of what makes this channel work. The link is in the video description and in the channel description on both YouTube and Rumble. Also in the channel description, you can find the invite link to our Discord channel. Please come hang out with us. And lastly, a quick shout out to my Tier 3 and 4 patrons. Russ of the Frozen North, New5AC, Nick, Zachary Langmead, Scared Wolf 1206, and Zachery Raney. Thank you very much. Now, on with the story. The Old Man and the Starship by user SomethingTouchesBack. Master Engineer Rory Scott paused at the door before entering the engine room, giving time for the lingering taste of a dram of Edredor whiskey to be replaced by the odors of burnt lubricant, ozone, and fear. To the right, the status board contained rather more red than was considered acceptable, even for an older freighter like the Scarborough, and the expected thrum of the power plant had garnered a slow periodic surge of oh shit at a frequency that he felt more than heard. Master Scott looked with disdain at the gaggle of fresh-out-of-the-academy pudknockers with ashen faces arguing in front of said board and patted the bulkhead. "Once more into the breach, my love. Another training opportunity presents itself. Engineers straight out of the academy think they know how to operate a starship the way a virgin straight out of medical school thinks he knows sex. All theory and no experience." Rory Scott had been an engineer on the Scarborough ever since before this patch of pudknockers had even been born, and had been master engineer for half of that. He always got the hottest new recruits, the top of the class, the arrogant pricks who most needed to learn that they didn't already know everything before they could begin to learn anew. He had a reputation for being as relentless as he was patient, as fearless as he was crusty. Master Engineer Scott was the kind of mentor who would let a room depressurize, watching the barometer slowly tick down as his apprentices read the unnecessarily long and convoluted instructions on the emergency hull patch kit. None of his graduates ever had to read them twice. When he finished with them, his graduates had need of neither instructions nor the barometer to know what was happening and what to do with it. That was the power of converting theory into lived experience. Stepping into the engine room, he called above the ambient din, "Mr. Ramirez, what does the board tell you?" The very young Mr. Ramirez turned towards Master Scott with a sclera on full display around his dark brown irises as he squeaked out, "The plasma flow is getting increasingly unstable. We need to shut the reactor down or we'll all burn." "No," interrupted Mr. Rand, the engineer Mr. Ramirez had been arguing with when Master Scott had first entered. "If we shut it down, we lose power ship-wide and freeze to death. We need to vent enough plasma to reduce the oscillation without losing all power." "We can't do that," said a third young engineer. "If we vent plasma in FTL, it'll wrap around us and we'll die of radiation poisoning." Mr. Scott rubbed his stubbled chin. "Burn, freeze, radiation. Well, good news. The board is wrong. Scarborough is speaking to you. If you learn how to listen to her, she'll get you home. Mr. Ramirez, fetch me the 18mm combination spanner, thank you. Now you, Miss Durant, spread your fingers lightly on this conduit. Do you feel the harmonic? Do you feel how it first touches your index finger and then moves to the others? Now please keep your hands on the pipe as we follow along it. Here. Do you feel? The pulse is stationary. The harmonic is causing a standing wave right here." Then Mr. Scott moved the other two back and, swinging the spanner like a hatchet, whacked the pipe twice. The second whack triggered a subtle whoosh, followed by a sharp decrease in the nearly subsonic pulsing. Over the next minute or so, half of the red indicators on the status board reverted first to yellow and then to blue, indicating regular operation. As Mr. Scott calmly put the spanner back in its place on the tool wall, Mr. Rand asked, "What did you do? Why did that work?" "Percussive maintenance," Mr. Scott replied. "Small cavitation bubbles in the plasma get trapped in the standing wave and form larger bubbles until the flow is restricted. Banging it in the right spot in the right way momentarily disrupts the standing wave, allowing the blocking bubbles to move on. Books teach why plasma flows. Experience teaches how to keep it flowing." Master Scott then turned to address the whole group. "So, anyone, why are there cavitation bubbles in the plasma flow?" "Cavitation is caused by localized rapid decrease in pressure in the fluid medium, sir," Mr. Ramirez responded, as if to a drill sergeant. As Master Scott nodded in assent, all heads turned to the status board. A pointillism masterpiece of blue, yellow, and red that would have made a 19th century Parisian artist proud. It had long been evident to Mr. Scott that whoever designed that monstrosity had never had to glean critical information from it in a hurry. It was just as apparent that the overload of data it projected did not, in fact, include the crucial detail that his apprentices were looking for. He let them bleed their eyes on it for a while longer before saying, "It's not there. Quit looking for it at the board. Instead, listen to the ship. Feel her pain. Smell her tears. Can any of you smell the ozone? You should never be smelling ozone. Ozone is the smell of either arcing or excessive back voltage. In this case, the latter. Somewhere a stuck solenoid is crying out to you." Master Scott then picked up a 12mm spanner off the tool wall and started walking upstream along the plasma conduit. He stopped where 3 small injectors fed their contributions into the stream. "I want each of you to feel the pipe above and below the valves for each of these injectors and tell me what you notice." It was Miss Durand who noticed and spoke up first. "The exit flow from the middle injector is colder than the feed flow. The board says this valve is fully open, but my fingers say otherwise." "Very good," replied Mr. Scott. "Over time, wear on the solenoid causes a rough spot that can make it stick. Tag this part for replacement when we get back into port. But in the meantime," Master Scott placed the open end of the spanner against the end of the solenoid such that the power wires ran through it and, with his other hand, gave the center of the handle a sharp tap. Instantly there was a noticeable change in sound as the valve fully opened. Turning to his apprentices, he said, "We have a long way to go, and I guarantee this valve will stick again, so I expect each of you will get practice at both clearing the cavitation bubble in front of the main feed and jarring this solenoid loose. Remember, listen to the ship and be sensitive to her changing moods, so you know when the bubble needs to be cleared." But as Master Scott was returning the 12mm to its home on the tool wall, another issue caught his eyes. Picking up the 8mm, he walked towards the status board, saying as he walked, "What you see, what you hear, and what you smell, and what you feel are important. But equally important are what you don't see, hear, smell, or feel." Alia had been staring intently at the dizzying display of lights on this panel, panicking about all the red, but who amongst you noticed the indicators that were not lit at all? Reaching the display, he used the closed end of the spanner to deftly unscrew the captive fasteners along its edge and tilt it out. Reaching into the exposed circuitry, he felt amongst the many connectors until one reseated itself ever so slightly, and the dark indicators lit up. Sustained harmonics often cause these cheap connectors to unseat. After resecuring the status board in its place, Master Scott turned to the cluster of apprentices. "This ship is the only thing between you and the void. Others may have the luxury of being merely crew, but you are engineers. You need to wear this spaceship like your favorite old shirt. Listen to her. Pay attention to her needs, and Scarborough will get you home. Your current assignment is to physically verify that every single connector in this room is properly seated." On his way back to his cabin, Master Engineer Rory Scott paused at the door to the engine room and again patted the bulkhead. "Scarborough, my love, today they are young and naive, but when I finish with them, they will love you and understand you as I do." Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm the Casual Death Welder, your host, and this has been The Old Man and the Starship by user SomethingTouchesBack. I hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. If you did, please go ahead and smash those like and subscribe buttons down below and maybe drop us a comment. Or perhaps a virgin sacrifice. Either one works. And as always, a huge shout out to my editor, Gregor. Thank you very much, buddy. I couldn't do this without you. Now, question, who's got the question? Okay, this is one that's definitely going to date me, and I don't know how many people I have in the audience that are from my generation, but who remembers old video arcades? What was your favorite game? Leave your answers in the comments down below. Until next time, be safe, be well. I love you all. Bye-bye.